to windy today, partly sunny, about 80 to 85. A chance of a shower or thunderstorm overnight. That overnight temperature in the mid to upper 60s, mostly cloudy. More clouds, more showers and thunderstorms Thursday and Thursday night. Still rather windy. It'll be in the low 80s on Thursday. Showers and thunderstorms Friday, mostly cloudy, in the low 80s. Jonesboro, that's your KLEK 102.5 FM weather.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Ollie Barrett. Armenia's capital Yerevan and several other cities have been brought to a standstill by protests after MPs refused to back opposition leader Nikol Pashinyan as Prime Minister. US media are reporting Donald Trump's been warned he could be issued with a subpoena to appear before a grand jury as part of the investigation into alleged Russian election interference. And hundreds of deaths may have been caused in the UK by a computer error in a breast cancer screening programme.
It's 9:01.
Community Conversations is brought to you by Arkansas Early Learning, offering no-cost childcare in Jonesboro and Northeast Arkansas. Applications at arearlylearning.org.
Arkansas Early Learning is a nonprofit organization.
KLEK LP Jonesboro, the voice of Arkansas Minority Advocacy Council. It's now time for Community Conversations, a program focusing on the people working to make the Jonesboro community a better place, while offering viewpoints from all sides of the issues. The views expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of KLEK 102.5 FM, the voice of Arkansas Minority Advocacy Council, or our underwriters or sponsors.
Good morning, everyone, and happy Wednesday to you. I hope that everyone is having a great start to your day. And as you know, it's the first Wednesday of the month here on Community Conversations, and you know what that means. The Chief of Police, Chief Rick Elliott, is here joining us today. Good morning.
And good morning, everyone.
All right, so today we're going to be talking about what's been happening over the past month in Jonesboro, any updates people may need to know about, and also we're going to get into some statistics.
Right.
Are these just crime statistics in Jonesboro?
Well, I brought our annual report for 2017, so we'll do a kind of a recap of 2017 things. So we've got a lot to talk about today.
All right, so one thing I do want to mention, and people, I would love for them to make note of, as we know, there was a neighborhood cleanup that was hosted by the Fisher Street Community in Action 2 weeks ago, but coming up on May 5th, there will be another clean sweep going on in the Scenic Hills area, which is behind Annie Camp. Right. So can you tell us a little more about that?
Sure, that is actually this weekend. We'll kick off about 8 o'clock in the morning. The staging area for folks to bring their trash to will be on the back side of Annie Camp. Sanitation department will have rollbacks there. People can bring things and throw it in the dumpster. Take a little pride in your neighborhood and get neighborhoods cleaned up. If you're unable to load stuff and get it down there, if you'll get it to the curb and contact our Quality of Life Code Enforcement, Lieutenant Scott Baxter, they can put it on the list for the trucks to come by and pick up Saturday morning. So there's a lot of things, big bulky items that people just can't move themselves, but get it to the curb. We'll get it picked up if you're in this target area for this cleanup. This includes tires, no limbs or yard waste, but just old appliances, tires, things like that.
And of course, no hazardous materials.
No hazardous materials, no batteries, no paints, things like that. But last week, and the last cleanup was last week, we collected over 10 tons of trash and waste. So that was a very successful cleanup for north side of Jonesboro, and we hope to do the same thing on the west end this coming weekend. The police department will be down there providing hamburgers and hot dogs for the folks that if you drop off something and want to grab a burger or dog and visit with us, we appreciate that. But otherwise, gather and bring and get rid of and do your part to make the area that you live in a little bit nicer looking place.
All right.
And we're speaking with Jonesboro Police Chief Rick Elliott. We already have some Facebook shout out to Cora Evans Hester, Jeff Presley, and David Carnes, who says, good morning to everyone at KLEK and our police chief, Rick Elliott. Thank you, sir, for everything you do for our community. It is absolutely appreciated.
And good morning to David and Cora. You know, I shout out back to David and Cora this past weekend. They were very instrumental in helping us at the cleanup event at the North Jonesboro cleanup. So David was, he and I cooked. So
you got on the grill, Chief?
I did. So Dave and I, we chefed that thing up and cooked some burgers and dogs for everybody, and I must say they were pretty tasty.
Alrighty. So I want to switch to another story, just to share how, or express how beneficial the different supplies and things that the training you all get are essential to the job that you do. There is a story from the Stop the Bleeding Foundation, and won't go into all the details of the story. Anyone can see it in the Jonesboro Sun or on the internet somewhere, but the police were able to give assistance to a 2-year-old who was the victim of a stabbing because of the tools they had available, made possible by a grant from Blue and You Foundation. So,
right. Yeah, that was just this past weekend. We had a kind of give everybody a little history on that story. It was a custody issue, and the mother was picking the child up, and the dad pulled out a steak knife in an attempt to stab the mother. He stabbed the child in the arm, and the blade went all the way through the child's arm and then stabbed the mother. And of course, he was quickly taken into custody, and the other officers reacted quickly, got the child outside, and put on tourniquet and used the tools from their IFAC, which is individual first aid kit, and rendered aid to this child and basically saved the child's life, because the child had a severe bleed going on, and they got the bleeding under control. They could get the child to Memphis for treatment. So at this point, I think the happy outcome is the child's going to be okay. But yes, this is one of the tools that the officers now have in their vehicles, are these IFAC, which stands for Individual First Aid Kit, which contains tourniquets, chest seals, and bandaging material. Heavy trauma, treating it like gunshots and stab wounds. It doesn't have band-aids or things like that. This is for major bleeding control kit. So every officer has gone through the training or is going through the training and receiving these kits. And this year alone, we've had 3 tourniquet saves already. So all of our officers carry tourniquets with them day in and day out. Last year we had 6 tourniquet saves. So these are Jonesboro residents that, if it wasn't for their quick response to these officers and these kits, they would have bled out before ambulance personnel could have got to them and got them to the hospital.
We're very grateful.
It's a successful program, and we're pleased to have it. And on top of that, Blue and You has come out with another grant that we're taking part of, and it's for putting naloxone or Narcan in all the cars for the officers. And this is for people that we come up on with opiate overdose. Unfortunately, in our country, we have a lot of problems with drug abuse. And from time to time, we run across people that has overdosed on opioids. And these officers can take the Narcan, and it's a mist they squirt in the patient's nostrils, and it'll counteract the effect of the opioid and bring that person back around. So these are often life-threatening situations, and there's been a lot of people die across the country, and this is another tool that we're putting on, in the cars and on the officers to help save lives. And also the officers, a lot of times the officers get exposed to some of this stuff and can suffer the ill effects also, and they can treat themselves or their fellow officers. So, but this is also through the Blue Cross Blue and You Foundation. So Blue Cross has been a wonderful partner for law enforcement across the state. This project is across the state, and they provide these kits. They're about $100 each, free, as long as the agency does the training. And part of the training is all the officers have to go through a CPR class,
Okay.
and then they're trained how to use this, and so it's a good thing.
That's awesome. All right. Another thing that I see is coming up this Saturday is called the Drug Take Back.
Okay. Yes.
It's going to be at 1001 South Caraway. That's at the police department.
Right.
Okay. And this is thanks to the Rotary Club of Jonesboro. You have a permanent drop box on site.
We do. On the side of the building at Caraway, there's a metal box that people can drop off unwanted prescriptions.
Okay.
We ask that you don't drop off syringes,
Okay.
like diabetic syringes, things like that. We just take unwanted medications, and we'll dispose of them.
And one thing I want to point out, it's environmentally safer to dispose of the medicine that way because you have a way to get rid of it versus dumping it down the toilet.
Correct.
And it gets into the water system, and we don't realize over time how all of those different medications build up all the whatever chemicals are in
It
those.
does. It affects the ecosystem of our water, and so don't do that. Don't just come by the station, and this box is there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's you just open the door and drop it in, and we'll collect it, and then DEA will come around and pick it up and dispose of it for us.
And people like to make jokes, is it something in the water? Well, unfortunately, sometimes
Sometimes it is.
It could be.
Last year we collected over 1,000 pounds of pills.
Wow.
And disposed of. So the box itself, we have to dump it at least once a week. That's about the size of like an old metal mailbox.
Okay.
So it gets a lot of use. We appreciate that because we know that these people are doing the right things, and we're getting this stuff out of the homes and out of the hands of folks that doesn't need it. So sometimes, as we know, kids like to get a hold of medicines and experiment, and that's not a good thing.
Right.
And something else that is outside of the police department is the Safe Stop. I don't think I may have the right term for it, but it's basically Swap Spot.
Swap Spot.
It's basically a spot where if you are buying something from someone online and you're concerned about safety, you can meet up there.
Absolutely.
And handle the transaction.
Absolutely. This this is on the same side as our drug drop box. This whole side of the building is under camera surveillance 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So, you can drop your drugs off and feel safe about doing it because we're watching it. And then if you're, again, making a transaction with somebody that you've made off the internet, then this is a great place to meet. And, every day I walk out and I see somebody exchanging something.
Okay.
It may be shoes, guitars, or four-wheelers, but,
You see somebody buy a four-wheeler?
Yeah, when you see somebody pull up in a trailer and somebody else pulled up and, they're looking it over, it's like, well, this is another deal, But and I see a guy out there with a guitar, checking it out, it just... But it just tells me that, again, we see this every day, that it's doing what it's designed to do, and that just, provide a safe, neutral environment to make this exchange.
Okay.
Yeah, and it protects both parties because
It
obviously
does.
if you want to buy something, you say, well, meet me at this swap spot, and the other person starts getting nervous, that lets you know you probably
That's right.
don't need to buy it.
That's right. It's exactly right, And I've seen people meet at gas stations and things like that, which that's probably okay, but, we provide a little bit of extra security.
All right. Not going to waste more time on. If you would like to know more about what's going on with the police department, go to their Facebook page, Jonesboro Police Department, and scroll down and you'll see all the wonderful stories and things that they're doing in and around the community. But I do want to mention you have some new graduates.
Mm-hmm.
Christopher Scholl, Evan Henry, and Tyler Williams.
Right.
So congratulations to them and welcome to JPD.
Yes.
All right, and then shout out to your drug task force, Because no SCU.
Street Crimes Unit.
Okay, for they're doing their job and getting those materials.
They had a
off the
pretty
street.
big bust not too long
They
ago,
did.
didn't they?
They
$200,000.
they hit over 5 pounds of meth. Street valued over $200,000. So that is a bunch of poison that's off the streets of Jonesboro. So that unit has done very well in 2017. We brought them back in January of 2017, and they have done well making an impact on the drugs in Jonesboro.
We have another Facebook comment. This comes from Donna Humble, who says, "Wonderful for our community."
Thank you, Donna.
All right, so I know we only have a few moments left in this segment, but I want to go ahead and get into some of the, I keep calling them statistics, the report from last year. So
Sure.
Where would you like to start?
Okay. Well, as everybody knows or should know that we collect data on everything we do day in and day out. Reports, traffic stops, whatever. We run by data and we focus our efforts based on the data that's obtained, whether it's in regards to crimes or accidents, whatever. But we put out weekly reports and then a monthly report.
Okay.
And at the end of the year, we do the annual report. And that's briefly what I'm going to talk about today, just the annual report for 2017, just to kind of give the listeners an idea of how much call volume we actually are involved in, during a year. And, all calls begin at the dispatch center. Our 911 dispatch center last year answered 247,997 phone calls.
Almost 250,000 calls.
Almost 250,000 phone calls. That's for Craighead County. So that is a lot of phone traffic coming in at this center. And Jeff Presley and his staff over there do an outstanding job day in and day out, helping protect the citizens of Craighead County. Out of that number, 82,619 of these calls was handled by the Jonesboro Police Department.
Oh, wow.
So police department call volume was almost 90,000 different dispatch calls for that year. So our call volume, these officers stay busy pretty much. When they go to work, there's usually something going on from the beginning of shift to the end of shift.
Wow.
So it's quite busy. And to break that down a little bit further, they've had 42,397 calls for service or different complaints. That could be anything from vehicle break-ins, house break-ins, or just whatever people tend to call the police for.
Okay.
We took over 9,000 incident reports last year. So that's a lot of report writing, a lot of data going into the system.
And does that include traffic accidents, or that's something separate?
No, that is something separate from itself. Traffic accidents last year, we had 3,167 traffic accidents in Jonesboro. So that's a lot of accidents. And at one time, our accident rate a month was over 300, and that became excessive. So we tried to step up enforcement on certain areas and to get that number back down, in which it has, but any accident is unacceptable because most of these can be prevented. A lot of these are attributed to distracted driving. Okay. So, Jonesboro has a lot of traffic. And, do yourself a favor and others a favor. Leave your cell phones alone. You don't need to Facebook and text and tweet and Snapchat and do selfies going down the road. And because taking your eye off the road just for a second, that car travels a great distance and you can be involved in an accident. And unfortunately, every year we have some fatality accidents in Jonesboro. And so just, don't be distracted by the devices in your cars, because it does cause a lot of problems. Moving on, our officers made 22,651 traffic stops last year. So, our goal is to gain compliance out here. If you tend to break the law and when they're not busy doing other things. The goal is to stop the motorist, and they'll either be written a ticket or a warning.
Okay.
For the most parts, we issue more warnings than we do tickets. So we're not ticket driven, but we are about gaining compliance from the motorist on the street. So we issued 8,744 citations last year, and then the rest of that was either a written warning or a verbal warning.
Okay.
So that was 13,907 in warnings.
Wow.
So the patrol division last year served 5,684 warrants. So there's a lot of warrants in our system that we're still working through, and just that's the patrol division alone served that many warrants.
Can I say something in our last minute, and we'll pick up?
Sure.
When it comes to that, because I've dealt with this some time ago, years and years ago. If it's not, go ahead and go to the police department and see what the warrant is about. I would rather turn myself in versus getting picked up, because then you're headed down a different path if you have to get picked up.
Absolutely. And right now we have two judges that really work with people. And to those that are listening, if you have a warrant right now, if you will contact our warrant division and speak with them, more than likely they'll be able to get you scheduled to appear before the judge. And in most cases, the judge will get you set back up on maybe a new payment plan, and so you can keep on going to work or whatever. So we're trying to keep people out of jail, and also get some of these things off the books. Because if you have a warrant, if it's for a traffic offense, then chances are your driver's license are suspended also. So if you can get this taken care of, then you can get your license reinstated, and that way you don't have to go into a panic attack every time you see a police officer thinking you can get busted.
And I have seen the judges actually work with people to get their license reinstated. Got a Facebook shout out to Bishop Adrian Rogers. Appreciate you, Bishop Rogers, for checking in on our live feed. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more on KLEK 102.5 FM.
You're listening to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. We'll be right back.
Do you have moral margin in your life? I'm Mark Merrill with today's Family Minute. I think of moral margin as creating an extra amount of space between us and immorality, immoral thinking, and immoral actions. Here are 6 ways to create moral margin in your life. First, build a relationship with a personal auditor. Just as a financial auditor would do a complete examination of financial records, your personal auditor would be given authority by you to ask you questions about your life and your relationships. I have several personal auditors, my wife and a close friend. Second, give your children permission. Ask any of my older children, and they'll tell you that I've given them permission to ask me anything, and I'll give them a truthful answer. For the rest of the ways to create moral margin, check out my blog at markmerrill.com. Remember, your family first.
Family Minute is made possible by the Kappa Nu Omega chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, a non-profit organization committed to service to all mankind. Kappa Nu Omega Alpha Kappa Alpha on Facebook and KNOMEGA1908.com.
Family Minute is brought to you by the Gears Foundation, a nonprofit organization providing students with assistance in their academic and career pursuits. Gears Foundation on Facebook, Gears_Inc. on Instagram, and the Gears Foundation at gmail.com.
And now back to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM.
All right, welcome back to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. I'm your host, Kawila Jones, along with Mr. Cato Leganzi Wonder, Leganzi Cato Wonder, and our very own Chief of Police, Chief Rick Elliott. We are going through some of last year, the data collected from last year, from tickets, warrants, traffic stops, and whatnot. And so Chief Elliott is going to keep us going on what's next on the list.
Sure. we're kind of reviewing our 2017 stats, and I'm at the point of our professional standards division of the department. I have a division called professional standards that if anybody has a complaint against an officer, then they can fill out a complaint or contact this division and lodge a complaint. We'll look at it and go from there. Some of these complaints can be very minor in nature, and some may be serious in nature, but we'll address it, and then we'll certainly deal with it. But you look at the number of contacts that the officers have with the public throughout a year, and we go through all the contacts and add everything up. We contacted the public over 103,000 times last year. So whether that's complaints, accidents, whatever. You take all those times that there were officer encounters with the public. Some are recorded, and some are just casual conversations that are not even part of this. So it's well over 103,000 because you see people in passing or whatever. Mm-hmm. So with that being said, there were 89 complaints on officers. Out of that 89, we found only 59 of them to be valid. Okay. And so you take 59 sustained complaints out of over 103,000 contacts with the public. That tells you that's about as good or better customer service than anybody in any other part of the commercial world, business world that has. Okay. So I don't think you can go to any business around town or any corporate business and find that good result. So I'm pretty proud of that, and it just shows you that the men and women of the Jonesboro Police Department are dedicated to what they do. They love what they do. It is a calling to do this kind of work because, day in and day out across the country, law enforcement takes a beating, and there's not a lot of community support. But this community does support the police department, and it is appreciated.
Okay. Of those 59 that were found there, were any severe action had to be taken?
Well, including in that 59, it may be something that we sparked internally. There was a couple terminations last year. So, I have a high standard, and if somebody does something that's, that grossly violates policy, then I will terminate that officer. I won't tolerate it.
Okay. All righty. Once you've reached a decision, does the person that filed the complaint get to see or know?
They'll get a letter that whatever action was or wasn't taken.
Okay. All right. So when going back to the traffic accidents, on a month-to-month basis, do your officers sit down and kind of analyze what was the cause and then come up with a graph, a chart, or whatever? And so, okay, where can we step up here, there? Where can we be more present?
Well, that's the reason we collect data.
Okay.
It's a data-driven approach to crimes and traffic. So, we take the weekly data and see where the hot spots are.
Okay.
And usually on accidents, it's Caraway and Red Wolf.
Okay,
people. No surprise.
Yeah, no surprise there, right? But those have always been our two biggest hot spots of traffic, and between noon and 6, that's the highest accident rates in Jonesboro. So, you take that, and we're always looking. Is anything we can do in those areas to, on enforcement? Unfortunately, it's hard for officers to. If you see a violator, to get through traffic, to get to them, so it's unsafe. Okay. Sometimes trying to do that for the violator and the officer. So you kind of have to select areas where we can get to traffic and to enforce certain laws. But we look at the data. We say if we have vehicle break-ins in certain areas, which we're experiencing again, we'll increase patrols in those areas. And then while we're on that subject, we still have people that have valuables left in their cars. They're not locking their cars at night. And, people are coming through neighborhoods and checking doors. They're not breaking glass. They're just finding unlocked vehicles, and they're stealing guns and computers and purses and wallets and things like that, So, do your part. If you have a gun in your vehicle, be a responsible gun owner. Secure your vehicle or take your gun inside with you. Don't leave valuables in an unlocked vehicle, because I don't care what neighborhood you live in this town, you're susceptible of being victimized. And we have seen this in virtually every neighborhood at this point. Vehicles being gotten into every night.
Yeah, I have a question. I know I'm always thinking, I don't know, far ahead, big, whatever. Okay, if people's cars are getting broken into, some people are getting smart about how they use all these tools to break into vehicles so they're not smashing glasses. And for those that may be locked, they may be finding other ways to jimmy the door, to whatever they do. Do you think that it'd be beneficial for these car companies to then take this information that police departments, crime units, whatever, have collected and say, okay, let's find a way to make vehicles less break-in friendly?
Yeah. Well, over the years, actually, they have done that. It's not as easy to pick locks like it was years ago, or to use a coat hanger like it was years ago. So, yes, the vehicle industry has worked with law enforcement over the years and has addressed those issues. But again, the biggest part is they're just finding doors unlocked. So we get very little glass broke. It's just, there's plenty of people leaving things unlocked with valuables in it. So why take a chance of making noise breaking out of glass when you can go the next car down and it's open and you got money in there and whatever.
And be mindful at the gas station. I'm paranoid sometimes about locking my keys in my car, so I don't usually take my keys out of my hand, close the door, lock it. So sadly, you have to be mindful at places like that, gas stations, getting out to go pick someone up or running a store. Just be mindful of everything.
Well, absolutely. I mean, we've always said, once you get out of your vehicle at any public place, be mindful, aware of your surroundings. Stay off the phone. If somebody's looking to victimize you, they're looking for the person that's distracted. Because they're less likely to be identified or whatever. If you see somebody and you get that funny feeling in your gut that this guy doesn't look right or something wrong with him, I just tell people to keep on looking at him, make him uncomfortable, because he now knows that he can possibly be identified, and he's probably going to leave you alone and wait for somebody else.
Got another Facebook shout out. This again is from Donna Humble, who says, "Our chief is the best this community has had in years. Huge thank you to all of JPD for working to make our community a better, safer place every day."
Appreciate that, Donna.
I want to ask this question. You were talking about being mindful and paying attention to your surroundings. When individuals go through the CPA classes, do you teach them how to pay attention to fine details sometimes? And because I know officers have to, when they write a report, they have to be able to recall the details of a scene or whatever the case. But when people go through the CPA classes, is it something that they're introduced to on how to be? You walk into a room and kind of, I don't know.
Well,
take a few notes.
During CPA, we touch on all aspects of policing. And we present the scenarios to them and make the students think.
Okay.
And once they kind of get in that mode, then they start analyzing. Of course, the TV shows have helped people to analyze and think, and there's enough crime shows out there that it's pretty good crime analyst as it is.
I'm a forensic specialist.
There you go. I mean, you can watch a couple seasons of NCIS or Miami Vice or whatever, and you're the expert.
And you can watch Law and Order and represent yourself in court.
Absolutely. And it's amazing all this gets done in an hour, and of course that's the part we do have problems with, because you see it on TV and it can be done in an hour, and they think, well, we can do it in an hour. Like, no, it doesn't work that way. No. Our crime scenes take many hours to work, and they have their crime scene work before the first commercial break, and they're back at headquarters and processing on their DNA analyzer that throws up DNA in 30 seconds along with your picture and your dog and the house and your car and everything else. But, you know, some of that stuff just does not exist. But the general public, a lot of folks just don't realize that, you know, that, yeah, we can get DNA and we do a lot what they do on TV, but it's just not as quick as TV. And but we do have a good crime scene unit, and you know, we do make the cases.
All right, Legacy, can you attest for your time with CPA? So,
well, she pretty much hit it on the head. I mean, it's something that is touched on. I mean, obviously because the time frame can't go into any particular topic in detail. I'll mention one tip that was given that we actually did do here in the studio that can help protect your home. Is like if you have deadbolt locks, you know, they come typically with short screws. Replace those short screws with like 2 to 3 inch long screws, and that way if somebody tries to kick or beat your door in, it's going to be a much tougher time to get through it. And the officer actually demonstrated the difference between kicking in a door with the standard screws as opposed to the longer screws. And like I said, you can go to Walmart, Lowe's, any place that sell screws and get them for $1 or $2.
They are not expensive, and it does give you just a little bit more time, and especially if you're at home, to react.
So that's just one little example from my experience.
Right.
Well, we definitely want to encourage everyone, you know, if you want to know some of the inner workings of the police department, sign up for the CPA classes. Do you have a date or potential date for the next round?
No, the next one will be this fall.
Okay.
And the exact date is not set yet, but sometime this summer we'll have a definite date, and of course we'll start pushing it out and taking applications. We're winding down on the current session now. We're over halfway done with it, and this has been another great class. You know, at this point we have graduated over 180 Jonesboro residents. So
that's awesome.
So this will put us over 200.
Now, I just want to encourage everyone. I haven't gone through the classes yet, but when I get through my formal ASU, hopefully I can make time. But there are people who have certain attitudes about the police department.
True.
You may have the same attitude when you get done with the class, but why not give it a try anyway?
That's right. You know, whether you like police or dislike the police, or you have questions, concerns, go to class. And we encourage dialogue in the class, because I don't know what your concerns are or how you feel about police, but if you start dialogue in class, it helps us understand, and maybe there's things we can do different to make you not feel the way you feel. So we learn as much from the people as they learn from us.
Okay.
So I've always said we can learn a lot from each other. You know, it's better to talk to each other instead of at each other.
That's right.
So it's been a great class. The whole program has been very successful, and you know, I will tell you that there's people that walked in that just never cared for the police, and today, same people are my biggest supporters.
That's awesome.
So it's about education.
All right.
And a lot of times we make decisions, uneducated decisions on topics all across the board. And you know, I always ask people, well, what's the rest of the story? You know, you have an opinion based on what somebody told you or whatever. So get out, educate yourself.
Okay.
You know, be an independent thinker. Don't go with what others tell you. Be your own person. Investigate, learn, educate yourself, and you'll be a better person.
Well, one thing I wanted to say to this is, as far as those that you know, have a negative perception or resistance to the police department, because I have actually seen this play out to where the perception is formed because they see what's going on in other parts of the country, which obviously Chief Elliott can't control what other police departments does, but they use that as the basis to form their opinions. And when there's outreach to join CPA or to learn more about police here, it's automatically rejected because the thought process is, well, you know, I saw this somewhere else and I seen this bad interaction in another jurisdiction, and so it's going to be the same here at JPD. So why even bother?
Well, often in this country we tend to stereotype, whether it's race, groups, or whatever. And I've always said, you base a person or judge a person on their action and their character, not what they do or what race they are.
Okay.
It's what's in a person's heart. And yeah, there's have been things across the country involving law enforcement, but you got to look at the bigger picture. How many positive encounters of law enforcement are there on a daily basis? There's millions and millions of contacts with the public across this country, and then you may get one bad incident pop up on TV every so often. So not that it's good or not making excuses, but there are far more positive encounters day to day of men and women across this country in this law enforcement profession. They are professional. They do the job right, and we all cringe when we see these stupid things that play out on TV. I mean, it affects everybody. And if an officer has done something that's improper, then they need to get rid of that officer.
Do you think because of the rise in technology or availability to the tools that we have, camera phones, whatnot, recording devices, do you think that has increased the animosity, increased the intensity, and increased the tension between?
No, I don't think it's increased the tension. I mean, it gets the information out there sooner. But you know what? Everybody's got a phone, and guess what? We got cameras. We got body cams. We got cameras in the cars, and our guys love them because, they're recording what's going on.
Okay.
And you can take a phone camera from a distance, and you can but take your own take on it. It may not be what it actually is. So then now that you end up with multiple camera views, more often than not, it has kept officers from being in trouble. And people make complaints on officers, and we go back and look at the camera footage, and a lot of times, most of the times, that complaint is not valid.
Okay. When you see different things that pop up on internet, Facebook, whatever, depending on what the situation is, do you take some of those and use them as teaching tools, or sit down with officers during your meeting, shift meeting, however it works, and say, okay, let's analyze this video. What could either the officer have done differently? Let's look at how you can interact with your person that, if you have to make a traffic stop, take what's in the video, and of course you only get a little bit of picture, but
day in and day out, there's several websites that officers, they're law enforcement websites.
Okay.
Different apps and things like that. So all this news involving law enforcement, we get concentrated of it every day. I go and check on Police One and different websites.
Okay.
And so all these videos across the country that you see on whatever news or whatever, we're seeing the same thing, but sometimes in more detail along with a detailed story. So yes, those are teaching points and learning points. So the biggest part of the department, every day, day in, day out, we're looking at this stuff and, self-critiquing, and, if there's something, we need to address as a whole, we certainly will. But our officers are professional enough that, they're constantly looking to see what else is going on, and, who's making mistakes, and, being critical.
Are they checking each other? Like if someone sees, someone out of line, like, officer so-and-so, you really need to tone it down or something.
Yeah. I mean, they have that's their responsibility.
Okay. All right.
So if it's, again, everything we do is recorded. It should be recorded. And when things pop up, we'll just go back and look at the videos. And then officers or supervisors, they spot check videos.
Okay.
So,
Well, we're going to have to leave it there. And Chief is going to have to get ready to go to an appointment. So, Chief, wants to thank you for stopping by the studio. Any 20 seconds, any quick final comments?
No, just like to say thank you for this time, and hope everybody has a great day.
Thank you, Chief, for joining us. So if you're interested in the police department, go to their website and fill out an application.
JonesboroPolice.com. When we come back, we'll talk about some announcements and talk about our upcoming Juneteenth program.
You're listening to Community
June 16th.
Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. We'll be right back.
We're back with Money Matters. I'm Alfred Edmond Jr. Our Think Wealthy quote of the week comes from estate planning expert and attorney Lori Ann Douglas, a trust and estates partner at Moses and Singer LLP.
Financial infidelity, just like it's cheating financially in a marriage, and is as prevalent as sexual infidelity. Sadly, most people, while they discuss and have expectations as to sexual fidelity before they enter into a marriage, they don't have any conversations in regards to financial fidelity.
It makes no sense to be intimate with your partner in every other way but with your finances.
My advice always to my clients is make sure you protect yourself, and hopefully protecting yourself will protect the relationship. But if it doesn't protect the relationship, at least protect you.
For more great advice on money and relationships, go to GrownZone.com. I'm Alfred Edmond Jr. for Money Matters, a product of American Urban Radio Networks.
Money Matters is made possible by the Jonesboro Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, a nonprofit organization dedicated to uncompromising commitment to communities, service, leadership, empowerment. www.jonesboroalumnidst.org.
Money Matters is brought to you by Bancorp South, offering checking, savings, loans, credit cards, and wealth management. 5 locations in Jonesboro to serve you. www.bancorpsouth.com or 870-972-9800.
Money Matters is brought to you by the Gears Foundation, a nonprofit organization providing students with assistance in their academic and career pursuits. Gears Foundation on Facebook, Gears_Inc. on Instagram, and the Gears Foundation at gmail.com.
Teresa Beck, owner of Full Sun Gifts, 606 Southwest Drive in Jonesboro, is a proud supporter of KLEK. Full Sun Gifts offers a variety of gift ideas such as candles, fragrances, bath and body products, makeup, cosmetics, skincare, and more for birthdays, weddings, holidays, and all occasions. Details at Full Sun Gifts on Facebook and Instagram and 870-974-8480.
The Mu Omicron Lambda chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated was established on January 1st, 1977, originally serving Blytheville, Arkansas, and now serving Jonesboro, Blytheville, Osceola, Marion, and West Memphis, Arkansas. Today, the chapter continues to make an impact by focusing on Alpha's national community outreach initiatives such as My Brother's Keeper, A Voteless People is a Hopeless People, Go to High School, Go to College, Project Alpha, Boy Scouts, and the March of Dimes. The Mu Omicron Lambda chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated is committed to Alpha's mission of developing leaders, promoting brotherhood and academic excellence, while providing service and advocacy to the community. More information about the Mu Omicron Lambda chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated is available at MOL Alphas on Facebook or via email at molalphas@gmail.com.
Hello, I'm Officer Victoria Evans. I have always had a desire to help others in need and to be an example and role model to young women by encouraging them to never give up on their dreams. My dream was to become a police officer and to serve my community. In 2016, that dream became a reality, and it is the most rewarding experience of my life. Now I want to let you know about the same opportunity. The Jonesboro Police Department will conduct testing every month for patrol officers. Applications are available online at jonesboropolice.com or at the Police Department, 1001 South Caraway Road. The Jonesboro Police Department offers a competitive salary, health, and retirement benefits, top-of-the-line training, and most importantly, the chance to make a difference in the Jonesboro community. Join me in making Jonesboro a better place. The Jonesboro Police Department is an equal opportunity employer, and women and minorities are especially encouraged to apply. More information is available at 870-935-5657.
And now back to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM.
And we're back on Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. We want to thank Jonesboro Police Chief Rick Elliott for stopping by. He had to step out to head to another meeting. I do understand. But Kubila and I were just going to talk about a couple things that are going on in the community and also with KLEK.
All right, so one thing I am really, really excited about, we are hosting, along with some other, we're trying to get some partnerships with other organizations to host our first annual Juneteenth celebration. For those of you who may or may not know, Juneteenth, and it's TENTH, is the celebration of emancipation, of the passing of the Emancipation Proclamation, and we'll get more into details. We'll do a full show on what that's all about, but
I believe that show is actually scheduled for June 14th.
Yes, and the event is going to take place on June 16th at the University Heights Lions Club Park, and we're just asking the community to come out and support. If you would like to set up a table information, or if you would like to be a vendor, we're still seeking food and merchandise vendors. There is a fee for the vendors. Please contact us at the radio station. Check out our Instagram, Facebook page, our website. There's a vendor application on our website, klekfm.org. Please get with us. We really need to get things wrapped up, I'll say within the next 2 weeks. So if you're interested in being a food vendor, or you have merchandise you'd like to set up, please give us a call, email. All of our information is on Facebook, Instagram, or our website. We're also seeking poets and spoken word artists.
Have you hollered at my guy Fantasy? I had to call Fred out.
I don't know if he'll be in town, but we definitely want people to come out and share your work. So please get in touch with me if you're interested in doing that. We will have dancers out. We will have the Scarlet Chess Club from Arkansas State, other local organizations, information tables, and some game tables set up. So please come out and enjoy this wonderful celebration.
And another thing I just thought about, we have a lot of people around town that have local authors that are selling books. So
yes,
this would be a good opportunity for you to sell your books. So you could set up as a book vendor. So for those of you out there listening that have books out there, and of course we know of a few, so Kobila, somebody from KLK will be contacting them. So.
And we do want to give a shout out to two confirmed sponsors, St. Bernard's St. Bernard's Hospital Medical Center, and then to Bancorp South. So we want to thank them for supporting us in our efforts, and we could always use some more.
So if you would like to be a sponsor for this event, please contact us at the station. You can go to our website, klekfm.org. Again, that's klekfm.org. And go if you haven't checked out our new website. It's got a lot of new features, lots of news going around the community. Like Obila said, we are still looking for bloggers, people to talk about things that they are passionate about. But definitely check out our new website. Shout out to my guy BT Groove for hooking the website up.
Yes, sir. It's really wonderful. And I will be blogging now that I'm off school for a couple of weeks. I will be picking up on my blog, so stay tuned for the Q spot coming soon.
I got mine, Cato Wonders. So you'll from time to time discover what I'm wondering about.
All right, so I want to move on to another community event that's coming up. A lot of people have been asking for this. There's a lot of father-daughter dances going on, and now the Jonesboro Kappa League has stepped up, and they're hosting a mother-son dance,
which I will be DJing. All
right, which is on May 20th. It's going to be at the ASU Pavilion from 6 to 9 p.m. $20 per couple, $5 for each additional son. Now, of course, the Jonesboro Kappa League is a mentor group for the Jonesboro alumni chapter of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated,
which is one of our sponsors now.
Yeah, shout out to them. And also the money raised will go towards their Gears Foundation, which is a scholarship foundation. They could tell you a whole lot more because they do so much more than just give out scholarships. So check out their Facebook page, Jonesboro Alumni Chapter of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. And you can learn so much more about their Gears Foundation and the Jonesboro Kappa League. But again, May 20th, Mother-Son Dance, ASU Pavilion, 6 to 9 p.m., $20 per couple, $5 for each additional son. All right.
And they got something June 30th as well.
Yes, it is their 17th. This is actually their 2018 charter anniversary and Gears Foundation Scholarship Gala Potato. I say gala, but I think it's gala. This is their 17th. This is June 30th.
We'll also be DJing that as well.
And if you would like to get tickets, you can go to Eventbrite, which is BRITE, and type in Jonesboro Kappa League or Gears. Either Gears Foundation Kappa League, Jonesboro Kappa, and you'll find the event and you can purchase your tickets there. So, again, June 30th, 2018. I don't have a location on that.
All right, well, that's still to be determined. Fullness of Joy is having something for National Day of Prayer.
Oh, yes. That's tomorrow, the 3rd.
They're actually having drive-through prayer.
Yes.
So
at their church.
You go to the FOJ page, you can get the information.
Yes, this is hosted by the, I don't say Y Crew, it's their young department.
Well, I'm looking at it. It said Y Crew, FOJ Youth, and Young Adults have something different for you all. Thursday, May 3rd, 2018 is National Day of Prayer. Do you want prayer or need prayer? And I'm reading this directly from their page. Drive through our parking lot at Fullness of Joy Ministries, 2120 Thorn Avenue, from 5:45 p.m. until 7:30 p.m. and get just what you need. Elders, ministers, intercessors, and youth leaders will be there to offer you a quick prayer. You'll never have to get out of your car. You will not leave empty-handed. We will have confessions for everyday life that are yours to keep. You'll leave covered, empowered, and hopeful. The prayers of a righteous man availeth much. Stop by. We will be there waiting for you. And again, that is May 3rd. That's tomorrow. So if you need drive-through prayer, come go by Fullness of Joy from 5:45 until 7. Don't even have to get out. They'll walk up to your car and pray for you. So I think that's going to be pretty neat. I might swing through there and give me some prayers. Also, Future for Felons. I believe you can pull it up on the website.
Okay.
I believe you type in search for Future for Felons. That's another thing. You can go on our website. You can use our search feature if you want to look up something that you may have heard about. And the website is still growing. We're gonna. My guy BT is working on a section that's going to highlight and feature our sponsors who help to make KLEK possible. So we definitely can't do this without our sponsors and our donors, especially our new donors that join us during our pledge drive that are donating each month, such as Chief Elliott, which he dropped off his pledge before he did his interview, and we're just thankful. So you got that information as we get ready to wind down?
Yes, it is called the En Masse Incarceration Rally on May 19th. This will be held at Greater Dimensions World Outreach Ministries, 3307 Ray Street, which is the old Fullness of Joy building. It starts at 10 a.m. and it's on a Saturday. Come join us in the civil and human rights struggle of our time. So, and will you be there? You'll be there.
And we're DJing it as well. So,
all right.
Like I said, I'm taking up donations to buy more DJ equipment for all these gigs. But no, we seriously are working on expanding our equipment so that we can be more out in the community. And we talked about that during the pledge drive. Trying to make this the best KLEK that we can for you. Another bit of KLEK news, update on the soon-to-be First National Bank Tower. The conditional use hearing was successful. It was unanimously voted yes, and we have a date for construction. Construction of our new tower will begin May 28th and will resume June 15th. So, and stay tuned to KLK. We'll have information for an official dedication ceremony. But yep, our new tower will be up by June 15th, and we look forward to having a better signal for the students, for the population of Jonesboro. Also, our old tower is going to make its new home at WXPI in Jersey Shore, Pennsylvania. So we're paying it forward. They're a community station. So our old tower, it's not going to the scrap heap. It's going to continue to broadcast and help serve the community. And shout out to WXPI in Jersey Shore, Pennsylvania.
Just real quick, go to, if you're on Facebook, Black Professionals Network of Jonesboro. They are getting together to host a community back to school event. Tentative date is August 4th, but go to bpnjonesboro.org or Black Professionals Network of Jonesboro and comment, send them a message, let them know you're interested. We want to start doing things as a collective unit to make this community a better place.
There you have it. This is all Gospel Wednesday, so lots of great gospel music coming up. Brother Cops will join us at 11 o'clock. Have a great and blessed day. This is KLEK on 2.5 FM.
Thank you for listening to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM, a program focusing on the people working to make the Jonesboro community a better place while offering viewpoints from all sides of the issues. The views expressed in this program are those of the participants.